It's Origin time. Today with the Automaiden Origin, a 2-impact Origin created by the user known as user Null. Let's get into it. You are a part of a line of redstone golems built to serve as companions to a species long forgotten to time, now that you're all that remains to carry their legacy. Anima Engine, you cannot consume food, instead you use fuel to keep your artificial spirit burning. You can use most regular fuel sources as your form of food, though keep in mind it doesn't allow you to eat anything like logs or planks, though you can eat sticks if you convert your wooden logs and planks down to the sticks themselves. It's just one of those things to keep in mind. Most fuels you use in a furnace will work perfectly fine to fuel your system as well, just certain bits and pieces might not. Do no harm. Your programming forbids you from hurting others. Damage to players is completely nullified. You're unable to ignite TNT, attempt to sleep in the nether, or place end crystals. So with this, you're unable to do any form of direct harm to players, whether that be via PvP or whether igniting TNT with any form of flint and steel or even placing end crystals. You can still hurt other form of mobs in general. You can still do typical PvP things with mobs and stuff like that. You just can't hurt players. But you can ignite TNT if you do it via some form of redstone contraption like a pressure plate or some form of lever or a button that has a bit of redstone line leading to TNT, so you can still technically trigger TNT in certain situations, just you can't do it directly with a flint and steel. Laser array. Pressing your secondary key will cycle through 3 laser types. Press your primary key to activate the laser. Your laser array will overheat after 10 seconds of consistent use. The laser array gives you 3 different choices of a laser beam. First, you've got a medical beam, you've got a mining beam, and then a laser shield-esque beam. But let's go through each of them individually. Now, first, the medical beam. This is a very interesting one as it allows you to hear not only other form of mobs, but also other players. You'll be able to tell that a player or a mob needs to be healed by having a glowing effect around them. That's a red glow effect you'll see on them whenever they're below full health. You can just shoot them with the laser beam, and they'll gain their health back. As you can see on this other point of view, which is slightly laggy because apparently not having Minecraft open as the main screen when I'm trying to use the other form of Minecraft to heal myself, it makes it a little laggy for some weird reason, but ignore that. As you can see, it's healing at a pretty fast and reasonable rate when it comes down to it. It's not amazing, but it definitely could be useful. Let's say in the middle of doing a raid, you can just heal your friends who are currently trying to fight other mobs. The mining laser beam is very interesting. I would say in its pace of breaking things, it pretty much means that you don't need to worry about tools unless you get access to some form of haste beacon and then a netherite pickaxe with, I don't know, efficiency 5, and then that will be superior to any form of your mining laser. But the mining laser is fast enough that ultimately you don't need to worry about creating a majority of tools, at least for the long run. Eventually you might want to get yourself a netherite shovel with efficiency or a netherite pickaxe with efficiency, as well as fortune or silk touch, because that's always useful to have, but ultimately it's not something you ever need to truly worry about. But another thing I'll show off here is that if you do continuously use the mining laser for more than 10 seconds, you'll enter this overheat stage. Now, the big thing about this is that it's only a warning stage. It will flip off your laser, and if you continue to hold down the laser bar, it will increase this other form of overheating module. So if you just choose to stop using the laser here and wait for the overheat section to disappear off your HUD and go back to the laser beam, you should be all good. But if you do continue to hold your laser beam button, even though it's no longer functioning, eventually when you max out the overheating section, you will blow up. You'll take about 3 to 4 hearts worth of damage. This will also damage any form of mobs or players that are surrounding you at the time this happens, so be very wary of that. Then lastly, you've got the laser shield variation. Now this is less so a laser beam and more so a form of laser array that will go around your character. In order to activate this, you need to hold shift and then press G. It will put a bunch of laser arrays around you. Any form of mobs that walk into this will be bounced back and will be lit on fire. They take a bit of damage, they get knocked back, and they get lit on fire. You can be smart about this by only pressing G when the mobs get close enough to be hit by it, but be careful. If they do get to the interior side of the circle, you will need to move away in order to hit them with the exterior of the laser array again, otherwise they can get inside. Once they're inside, they won't get touched by the laser array. You need to either knock them out or knock them into the laser array for them to be shot out, or other things like along those lines. Overall, very interesting. I did point this out when operating the laser a little bit earlier, but there's an overcharge ability. Whenever your laser is overheating, attempts to continue operation will create an incredibly dangerous blast that is a safety hazard for everyone. I showed it before, we don't need to worry about it too much more than that. Metallic plating, your steel body protects you slightly from direct damage like melee attacks, explosions, and projectiles. Overall, a very nice decrease in damage you'll take averagely. As you can see in this clip here, I was tussling around with a husk, well not really tussling, more like the husk was punching me over and over again whilst I was just walking around, eating coal and just existing. And as you can see, I'm only taking a heart of damage, and if you have full saturation, it's very quick to heal that, and ultimately means it's not too big of a problem. Of course, mobs that hit hard like iron golems or things along those lines are definitely going to still hit very hard. Not as hard as what they used to, but still hard enough that it could cause problems. Conductive, your circuits will be fried when exposed to water and will take extra damage when struck with lightning. When talking about this ability, I may as well add in the hydrophobia ability as well. You receive damage over time whilst in contact with water, because technically the first half of this previous ability is a mixture of both of them. So with the first half, when it comes to water, you'll just hear like guardian noises, like your circuits are frying in the water. And when it comes to lightning based damage, if you take any form of lightning based damage, a lightning strike will deal about half your health with pooled. So if you get, let's say, one of those multifaceted lightning strikes where it strikes twice or 3 times in a very close proximity of you, you will take a massive amount of damage and die, pretty much guaranteed, if you take more than one lightning strike in quick succession. Overall, very, very interesting. A little bit of a bonus, if you do enjoy using additional mods to change up how your character looks to fit more within these origins, there is this mod called Figura, which you probably have already heard of. It's had some weird things recently, but let's not worry too much about that. The creator, user Null, has actually created 3 different custom models to use with this origin: a clean version, an overgrown version, and a rusted version of this robot, to really just help you embrace this personality of this origin a lot more and make you really fit more into your role as more of a robot to help other people, rather than being the menace to society that typical Minecraft players really are. Another little thing that isn't exactly mentioned in any form of the actual abilities of this origin is that your origin also has a special filter that's applied over the top of your vision almost all the time. You can toggle this on and off by pressing the F4 button, but it's a nice little TV filter. You've probably picked up on it throughout this entire video where it's there 99.9% of the time. There are points where it's not on because I've purposely either turned it off or I'm in creative mode, switching back to survival mode very quickly using the F3, F4 thing. Overall, it's a nice little interesting addition. Again, it's very easy to just ignore if you don't like the filter, but it's overall a really intriguing thing nevertheless. And that's the origin. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button down below. If you think this origin was cool, let me know in the comments down below. As always, what other origins you want to see? What other mods you want to see? Until next time, guys, click this amazing video on screen here, and bye bye!